two things associated with the University of San Francisco that I have respected for decades. One was Bill Russell, who of course went on and dominated the NBA with the Boston Celtics. And the other today is John Podesta, who I consider the world leader in climate policy. And John, thank you for what you're doing for our country, so many contexts. And thank you for the Center of American Progress. You can look at all good ideas that are propounded by governors and members of the U.S. Congress for the last 10 years, and they've had some origination at the Center of American Progress. I love what this group does. You can't overstate how much it's done to help us in public arenas to really get good ideas to run with. And so bless you for what you're doing. And I'm thrilled to be here too, because I've been on this campus for 49 years. The last time I was here, I was playing freshman basketball for the Stanford Cardinal, and I was a defensive stopper, and I was given the job, I'll never forget this, of stopping a guy named Mike Quick, who went on to play in the NBA for University of San Francisco, and I had a tremendous night. I held him to 40 points. I'll never forget this. I'm serious, he only got 40 points. It was quite an accomplishment. So tonight, here's another accomplishment, is if we can rededicate ourselves to each other across international and state borders, to one another. And I can tell you that this helps us when we do, no matter how vague, no matter how, in some sense, unenforceable, our relationships and agreements with other leaders helps us all for a variety of reasons. So when I went and met the President of Mexico, in Mexico City, and we talked about that relationship, that helped. When I signed an MOU with the United Kingdom, that helped. When I talked to Premier Horgan of British Columbia, it helps, not only for the specific things, like British Columbia, where we're trying to work together to build a bullet train from Vancouver, British Columbia, and instead of people wasting gasoline and putting carbon dioxide going up I-5, we would have a bullet train as good as Japan has, which they've had for 50 years. Now there's a specific thing we can do to cross borders, but it is not just the specific things, it's also the commitments we make to one another. And sometimes I think we forget this. When I tell a leader we're going to do something in the state of Washington, my credibility is on the line. I got some type of commitment to a person across the border. I may not see him that often, but I know I've made that commitment. So this type of international and multi-state and mayor level commitments to one another really makes a difference, and it helps. And it helps us domestically, so that we can go home and say we're not alone. And I can do that. I can go home and say we're not alone. People said, why should we do this? You know, if we're the only ones doing it. I said, well, guess what? The rest of the world's doing it. And I can tell about the meetings I had with the mayor of Shenzhen and what they're doing in China, and Norway, where Norway is helping us to lead to electrify our ferry fleet. We're going to build the first electric ferry in the United States. I think that's pretty cool, you know, to have an electric ferry. So I want to thank the Center for what you're doing to promote this kind of general concept. And my second message is this: we are in a blip in time. This is a blip. What's coming out of the White House is a blip. It's a momentary aberration. It is frustrating. It is slowing our progress, but it is a temporary situation. And I can tell you, to report to you, that the energy that exists in states is amazing. As you know, we started the United States Climate Alliance. It's 16 states. We're 40% of the U.S. economy. If we were one nation, and I'm not suggesting that, but if we were one nation, we'd be the third largest economy in the world. And this is a group that's moving forward. So it's really true, we still are in it in regard to Paris. You can't count us out. And here's one, I hope, comforting reality. By and large, no matter what the White House does, it cannot stop us governors from moving forward on climate change. We're So the White House hasn't been able to stop Jerry Brown from signing a bill today for 100% clean grid, which is a great job. It didn't stop Phil Murphy in New Jersey from having New Jersey rejoin